Happy Sunday, we got happy Sunday, guys. This is my interview with the lovely Love Boxing guys. How you guys? You're good?
Perfect. Lovely. Lovely. How you doing? You good?
I'm good, guys. I'm good. I'm just interested your background in boxing and your how do you guys as best friends you decided let's get a YouTube channel together. What made you start with the YouTube thing and Love Boxing TV? Whose idea was it?
Do you want to go, John, or do you want me to go?
Go on, go.
Right. So me and John have known each other for decades, right? We're older than we look, trust me. But yeah, we've always been into boxing, always been, we played football together, been on lads' holidays together, played golf together. Sounds a bit dubious, doesn't it? But yeah, you know what I mean? It's like we've done a lot of things together over the years, and we walked into a kickboxing gym together back in the day, and we started going through our ABCs, learning how to punch, kick. And then John moved out of London and moved to Essex, got married and stuff. So I went back and started boxing on my own there. But we've always had an interest for the sport. We sparred many rounds together, punched each other in the face, kicked each other in the head. I've got some of the images and the footage still, which might surface one day. You never know. But yeah, we've always had an interest for the sport. And then during the pandemic, like after each fight card, we'd get on the phone, and we normally have a 20-minute conversation about each fight card. And we like to think we're quite trappy guys. We like to talk quite a lot, and we thought, you know what, let's take it to camera and see if people like it. And yeah, it's been well received. So on we go. That's basically how it started.
In terms of boxing, were you actually amateur boxers yourselves, or were you like sparring?
No.
How far did you go?
No. I mean, I sparred with the senior guys in the gym. Never actually had a fight, but I was training in a camp a couple of times to do a fight, but I don't know how these guys do it. You're literally training 6 times a week. They wanted me to cut quite a lot of weight, and I was like, I just can't do this. A couple of weeks in, I was like, not for me. But I was happy to do the sparring and do the training and do the drills and stuff in the gym. But in terms of getting in the ring and actually having a fight, you never know though. I might still do one of these white collars. You never know. Might do it against John.
Absolutely. So your passion for boxing, what was your first memories as boxing as a kid? Was it Ali? Was it Tyson? Was there a particular fight that got you to box as your passion? Was there a particular fight or fight in particular that drove your interest in the sport of boxing?
So for me, I'm half Irish, half English, and my dad's Irish. He's from Sligo in Ireland. So my memories was Barry McGuigan. So he was obviously big in my house. So yeah, I've met him as well. Like he's a proper nice guy, and I remember just my dad allowed me to sort of stay up late basically to watch those fights, and that was, I think, my first introduction to boxing. I'm an Arsenal fan as well. My dad's an Arsenal fan, so I think sometimes you look up at your dad and see what they're doing, you follow it. So yeah, I liked boxing from a young age, and and then it was just, I think, the Eubank and Ben. That was a big fight that I remember. I remember sort of watching that fight. It's sort of in awe. The whole thing, it captivated me. I think I was young as well then. Even the going on Jonathan Ross, and I think, love him or hate him, Chris Eubank. Like that's why I love boxing. His characters like that. Like he sort of transcended the sport in a sense, isn't he? So yeah, and then obviously the other big fights. Like the era of Tyson and Lewis, and and then. Over the years, just grew more fond of boxing. I think with the whole social media and IFL TV, the boxers, the interviews, they're more accessible. I think it's just, it's got even better boxing now. So, that was how I got into boxing.
Mine was Hagler. It was actually on last night on Sky Sports Arena. I got a message from John. Hagler Leonard was my first fight that I saw. I was like, wow, it's incredible. Leonard coming out from a long layoff like that to take that middleweight. I mean, off one of the most fearsome guys out there, WBC IBF title from Hagler. I thought he won the fight. People say Hagler won that fight. I thought Leonard won that fight.
Won that fight.
It's just, I think for me as well, that kind of started the whole love for boxing. And then, but until we started the channel, we thought we were real boxing purists, but when you start the channel, you realize, you look at some of the other channels, and we've learned a little bit more as we've been doing it, and we've been trying to grow and expand our knowledge of the sport as we've been doing it. But I would employ anyone who does a boxing channel. Just go to your local boxing gym, do a few sessions, hit some pads, and you'll start to really appreciate more the talent of these guys. I mean, when you're watching boxing from afar and you haven't actually tried it, even just gone and done some of the drills, just padding and just, padding each other, you realize how difficult the sport is. When you break it down, it's not just two guys in the ring fighting each other, because that's what you think it is when you first see it. But when you train in the sport and you realize just what these guys dedicate to get to that level, it's amazing. And they make it look so simple as well. It really isn't. It really isn't. So, yeah, I would employ anyone just to get down. You should go. You're in Morecambe, mate. You should go down and see if you can get into
definitely.
Tyson Fury's gym and see if you can have a few sessions down there.
Definitely. For my history of boxing is when I was 6, I think definitely my passion for boxing came from Naz. I always had a thing for Naz. Naz trash talkers, whether it be Ali, Tyson, and Mayweather. I love people who were trash talkers, who rebel. I have a passion for trash talkers.
Yeah.
They're all good, weren't they? Ali was the original.
Yeah, Ali was the king.
I think everyone went on from there. But
what was your first fight? Can you remember as a kid? Can you remember your first actual fight? What it was live or on the TV?
What? Me being involved in a fight?
No, watching. What was the first? Do you remember the actual fight?
The first, as I say, the fight that made me fall in love with it was Hagler Leonard. But yeah, I mean, even before then, Hagler Hearns, all them sort of fights. I mean, I'm of an age where I grew up watching those guys, and then it kind of transcended into, John said, the heavyweights. The golden era of the heavyweights. Then the heavyweights died away, and then you had your welterweights coming through after that. But yeah, I mean, it just, from when you're younger, isn't it? And I don't just like boxing as well. I do love football and I do love other sports, but boxing at the moment is just overtaken our lives since we started the channel. And
yeah.
What do you say? Is it because I say the Mayweather curse? Is it the reason why boxing the way it is? Because so many boxers are afraid of losing the O's and undefeated records. They're obsessed with being undefeated just in case. Oh, if you lose to that person, or my only protection goes right down the drain, and these fighters won't love it anymore. Why do you think boxing is the way it is nowadays? Is it because obviously it's politics? It's so many promoters, networks want to work with each other. Everything wants to be in house, and why do you think so many fighters are just not keen on fighting in the best in their divisions?
You just said it. You just said it there, Yemi. I just think there's too many broadcasters, promoters, and there's more belts now than there was before, and everyone wants to have a world champion, and I think they don't want to fight each other because they don't want to lose. Each broadcaster's got, you might have the featherweight champion or the middleweight champion. You don't want to risk that guy fighting. Say PBC don't want to risk, whatever, Tank Davis losing this fight to someone on DAZN, because then DAZN will take that belt, and then how do they position Gervonta Davis to be, this massive, great fighter if he hasn't actually got a world title? So it's all about just positioning and posturing and just money. And I don't see it changing unless, I think PBC are struggling at the moment with money. The fact they keep putting on these pay-per-view shows, Martin v. Luis Ortiz was pay-per-view. Apparently that didn't do 25,000 buys. It was the latest one they put on.
Furman Barrios,
$75. Yeah, $79.99, something ridiculous, like $80 for that type of fight. Who's going to buy that?
Barrios is coming off of 2 defeats. Furman's been out of the ring for 2 years. It's just, and now they're putting out pay-per-view. So I don't know. Like, part of me wants DAZN to just go in, take over, and be a global player. Then all of the fighters go on DAZN, and we get all the best fights. But then on the other side to that is a flip side. I mean, having one person in control of all the fighters, will they get paid enough? Will they get bossed around enough? I don't know. Maybe if there was a union on there, I'm not sure what the answer is. Less belts is probably the answer. But then saying that, when you look at the heavyweight division, all the belts are with sort of Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. And then you've got all these other great heavyweight fighters, and no one's fighting each other because everyone's trying to wait so they can, win the lottery and get the fight against one of the guys with the belts. Whereas when those belts fragment, you might start seeing Joseph Parker v. Joe Joyce, Hergovich v. someone, and you might see other big fights take place. So I don't know, mate. I ain't got the answers for it.
I think you meant Tyson Fury, Usyk. Joshua don't own any belts.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, no, look, no. Totally agree with all of that. And, there's no better example in what John's saying there than Canelo. As soon as Canelo moves up to light heavyweight, all them fighters will stop fighting each other and they'll just wait for the phone call from, you know, the big money phone call. And, you know, talking about PBC and their pay-per-view model, we had on our live stream just a minute ago, I was trying to put a case for Tank getting that fight ahead of Devin Haney, right? I'm not going to go into it too much, but if PBC, you know, the way Kambosos gets the most amount of money for that fight, because that's basically what it is. It's a bidding war for Kambosos to get, you know, 10, 12 million. Whoever's going to pay the most will get that fight. So the pay-per-view model with PBC maybe might work in Kambosos' favor in that regard, because they'd probably have to sell that fight $75, $80, whatever it is. But it's not healthy to have one guy with all the belts and all the money just dictating everything. That's not healthy for boxing at all.
Speaking about fights that may or may not happen, Free versus White, does it ever happen? And if yes, why? And if not, why?
Yeah, I think it happens. I think by Wednesday I think the agreement is close. That's why they keep extending it, because I feel like they're getting close to that point where an agreement's going to get made. I don't think it's going to be 30%. I think they're going to have to settle for slightly less. Team with Dillian White could be 25, 27%. It would be more than the 20 that's on offer, though. It might be 20 with a bonus of a certain amount of pay-per-view sales. I think it will go on pay-per-view. Obviously, if it go Top Rank, get the fight. They're not going to give the fight to DAZN. I'm assuming this is going to be an ESPN fight. If that's the case, it will be pay-per-view. And Dillian White will have his salary boosted by pay-per-view sales. And, you know, the pay-per-view numbers are going to be astronomical for this fight. So I think an agreement is close. And I think by Wednesday, fingers crossed, because we go live Wednesday evening, give us something really good to talk about. You should come on Wednesday, mate, if an agreement's made.
Oh, absolutely. So you're confident Theo will actually fight White next, not Robert Hernandez or Andy Ruiz or something like that?
I think Joshua's going to fight Usyk 100%. I think the money that Joshua wants for stepping aside, I think it's a bit pie in the sky. I don't think there's this, you know, consortium of Middle Eastern guys that are going to come in with this pot of money to pay him off and still put 60, 70 million into the fight. I don't think that's happening at all. So I feel like these fights will happen. And it's just about getting that agreement that Team White are happy with. And I think they're close. Because otherwise we'd have had purse bids by now.
If it happens, what happened on that March 26th day? That's the women fight there, that title fight next.
That's not going to happen.
Don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I don't think that's happening. But yeah, what Kai said, I think the fact they keep putting back the purse bids means that they're getting closer. I think when they agree these fights, it always happens in the 11th hour. But I think that he's getting more. I think he's definitely getting 30%, Dillian White, because the whole thing is just BS. The fact that it's quite disappointing as well for me that Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, and Frank Warren, like, they've tried to get Dillian White to take this fight for 80-20 or 20%, when everybody knows Dillian White deserves more than 20%. He's bringing a lot more to this fight than, you know, a lot of other fights. He's a pay-per-view star on his own. So the fact that they was trying to get 20%, on the one hand, it's negotiation tactics, right? But on the other hand, it's like, you've just wasted so much time now. These fights could have been made. We might have got the March 26th fight if everyone would have just been sensible from the off. But the fact they tried to say, oh, because of the last purses that, you know, Dillian White put into the WBC, when everyone knows he didn't earn £300,000 fighting Povetkin. So it's just dragged the whole thing out longer. And I'm not too sure. So I do think it's going to happen for that reason, Yemi. But I do think that Anthony Joshua, I ain't so sure he's fighting Usyk next. I ain't so sure.
Speaking of my next topic, AJ versus Usyk, the rematch. I don't think AJ can beat Usyk. Unless he has a punch from the gods, I don't think AJ can beat Usyk, especially in that time period with a new trainer. You need at least 2-3 fights to adjust to a new training style. I just don't see AJ beating Usyk in a rematch. I just think it's too soon. I doesn't have the boxing IQ, you know, to be a fighter, you know, I was call about the Usyk. What do you think, guys? Usyk AJ rematch.
Well, listen, look, I'm an AJ fan. I'm a massive AJ fan. I think what he's done for the sport is nothing short of sensational, really, to be honest with you. And maybe I do offer a little bit of bias in that regard. I shouldn't do, because we're quite an unbiased channel. But I don't see it like everyone else. I don't see this as he's got zero chance of beating Usyk, and all Usyk's got to do is turn up and he wins the fight. I don't see it like that at all. I feel like that was the worst possible AJ we saw, with the worst possible cornering. Build up to the fight was all wrong. He was too friendly with Usyk, shaking hands and all that stuff. I think he just needs to completely change his mindset, go in there, new trainer, new ideas. Everything's got to be fresh. And if people are telling me that a 6'6" man that's as athletic as him, that hits as hard as him with his knockout ratio, doesn't have a chance, I don't agree. I think he has a chance. How much of a chance I give him, I can't really tell you yet, because I haven't seen the build up. I haven't seen who's in the corner. A lot of things are going to change for AJ going into this fight, but I certainly give him a chance. Again, maybe I'm a bit clouded by AJ bias there, but yeah, he's certainly got a chance in this fight. If he gets it right.
He had a chance. They definitely knocks him. He has a chance by knocking him out. But I just don't, I don't know. I just think, I just think Usyk is like a generational fighter, like Fury. He's just an exceptional, talented fighter. And I just think you need something. We need to see something.
Usyk beat Fury, I mean.
AJ.
Does Usyk beat Fury?
No, I think Fury is a smart fighter than AJ.
See, the problem is that Usyk, he is a generational fighter. He's cleaned up cruiserweight. He's gone up, but I think that the thing with AJ, right, is that when he got dropped by Andy Ruiz, like, a lot of people are saying that, he's gun shy and that, and I feel that he got dropped by Andy Ruiz, and then he rushed in after he knocked Andy Ruiz down. He rushed in, and then he got clipped, right, and then that was all she wrote. But since then, he's regrouped. He went back. He sort of outboxed Ruiz, which wasn't difficult. The weight of Ruiz at the time, and then he fought Pulev, and in the fight against Pulev, he could have got Pulev out of there. I think it was like round 4 or something, and that killer instinct was not there for Anthony Joshua. He stayed back, and I think that he did that because of what happened with Ruiz. He wanted to make sure that, he wasn't half cooked. He was fully cooked, Pulev, before he went in there and put his foot down. So I think psychologically, he's caught between two styles here, and he's gone in with Usyk, that same, I'm a boxer fighter, and he's tried to sort of outbox him. But what worries me, well, not worries me, because obviously want Anthony Joshua to win. I picked Usyk to win the first fight, by the way. But what I'm thinking now is Anthony Joshua is saying, just watch. I know what I've got to do. And I will favour Anthony. I will favour Anthony Joshua a bit more going into this fight, purely for that, because he knows exactly what he's got to do. So if he goes in there, and puts his foot on the gas, and he really just tries to, just fight, impose his, his physicality, his strength, just go in and fight. He has got much more of a chance than he did in the first fight. But then, when does he go? When does he pick his moments? While he's sitting there thinking, should I go now? He's going to get caught with a left hand straight down the pipe, and then Usyk's gone off at an angle. So when does he pick his moments? Does he go early? Does he save it for the mid rounds? A lot of questions there.
Speaking of AJ's mysterious new trainer, who do you think AJ would pick? And if you were AJ's advisor, who would you pick for him as his new trainer?
I would personally go with Ronnie Shields, just because if he's Stacey McKinley's not a bad shout either, but Ronnie Shields, because he's worked with heavyweights, right? Robert Garcia seems to be what people are leaning towards, but that man's only dealt with lightweights, featherweights, hasn't actually ever trained a heavyweight, as far as I know. I'm about to say answers in the comments, but I'm on your channel. But for me, I'd go with Ronnie Shields. Okay. Simple as that, because of his experience with Mike Tyson and Vander Holyfield, says it all.
And you, John, who do you think AJ would go for?
I don't know. I think there was rumours that he's going to go with Robert Garcia. I was watching Josh Taylor, Jose Ramirez fight the other day, and I was watching Garcia and like some of the tactics he was telling Ramirez to do. Like his fighters, they come out, a lot of upper body lateral movements, small steps, and loads of little feints to get on in the inside and then throw their punches. Something like that is actually what I think Anthony Joshua needs. That Mike Tyson-esque, I know he's, much taller than him, but that just throwing loads of feints, upper body movement, dipping, just trying to get in there and close the distance. So it might be a good match. I think that's who they're saying he's going to go for. His fighters are aggressive, but I like Shane McGuigan, but it's never going to happen. I think Shane McGuigan, because I think psychologically, the psychological problems is the problem for Anthony Joshua. And I think he does know what to do. And there's not a trainer that's really going to come in and tell him anything that he don't already know right now. If he don't know what to do now, he's not a prospect, Anthony Joshua. This is the finished article, what you see in front of you. He's got all the shots and all the ability to be this world champion. I think it's psychologically upstairs was the problem.
Yeah,
I think Shane will give that to him.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. I just if my ideal coach for AJ would be James Ali Bashir, because James Ali Bashir used to train Usyk, so he knows how what Usyk is inside and out the ring.
Good shout.
Is he going to do that though? Would he even do that though?
Veteran.
It's just whether he would take that. Mind you, anyone would take that job. It's worth fortunes, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. That's a bit close to home for Bashir, isn't it? It's a bit close to home.
Exactly.
So the long wait rematch. Does it happen? Is it April? It happens on May. I've heard this rematch.
Let's see, innit? I think this is all depending on the Tyson Fury, Dillian White saga. And I think that Anthony Joshua, Team Matchroom, they're probably not going to make an announcement until the Tyson Fury and Dillian White sort their fight out. That's what I think. I don't see it happening in April. I'm not even sure it's going to happen next. But
okay.
I think it's a summer fight myself. I don't think, I think it'll give him more time to work with his new coach, whoever that may be. There's no need to just start rushing it and putting it in there now. No one's going anywhere. I'm assuming both Usyk and Joshua will probably have 2 fights this year. And, you don't have to do it in April. I do it in April when you can do it in June or July and have an extra 2 or 3 months with your trainer and, just work on certain things and take some of that muscle mass off as well. He's going to need a massive tank in this fight. He's going to need to learn how to reserve his energy, his mental stress as well. So much needs to go into this fight. I'll speak to some sports psychologists. As John said a minute ago, it's all this fight will be won and lost up there for me. It ain't nothing to do with, of course, it's to do with tactics, but essentially what goes on up there will win or lose the fight for AJ.
Okay.
And Usyk was playing all those games leading up to the fight. The Joker, this mysterious guy.
So was Ruiz.
Selfies and that. Yeah.
So was Ruiz. I want to see the Joshua that we played a little piece of footage of Joshua that was facing up next to Dominic Brazil. He's like, just take my belts. What are you looking at? Don't look at me like that, right? Don't look at me like that, because if you do, don't man to man, I'll jump on you. That's the kind of, and you could see it in his eyes, right? He needs to find, as Thingy Tunde Ajayi said it. He needs to find out, take it back to the road. He needs to find that roadman mentality.
As White would say,
he needs to find that. He needs to
back, exactly. Yeah,
bring Femi back, exactly. And Femi's there because he was there back in the day. So he needs to just find that guy, find that inner.
Is he though?
Inner strength.
Is he there? You say he's there. This is the question mark. You don't know he's there. Yeah, let's see. Well,
look, the thing I will add to that as well is, you saw the Coogan interview when he's sitting there and he's swearing a lot more. I kind of wish he didn't do that. I kind of wish that might have been a conversation without the camera, because it seemed like it was a bit contrived, that he wanted to bring out the real him, the real Anthony Joshua. So he's letting his mouth go a bit more and he's swearing every 2 sentences. And it's like, okay, it's great that you're doing that, but don't do that in front of camera. Maybe be like that off camera. Maybe he's like that off camera. I don't know. But yeah, he needs to harness that energy and go in there and just close the distance. Don't sit at that mid-range with the best boxer on the planet. Don't do that, because you can close the range and also throw some body shots this time. The head move, the body doesn't. That's what I was always taught, right? You can lateral movement, but the body will always be there. I mean, I know his footwork's amazing, Usyk, but there will be times when you can land straight rights, jabs to the body, like he did against Povetkin when he was losing the Povetkin fight. Started jabbing to the body, overhand right. It was game over. I know Povetkin's no Usyk, but he completely didn't. Look, he did everything wrong in that first fight. Everything. Didn't reserve his energy properly. Every time he threw a shot, he didn't step into the shot. There was no spite behind anything. It was just, it was the worst Anthony Joshua, the worst game plan ever. And the cornering was just, they may as well not have been there. The whole cornering, Rob McCracken included in that. So, yeah. Expected to be different this time.
Would you say AJ is too old for some people? A lot of people say that AJ is too old for him to learn new tricks. Sometimes
No.
some fighters, when they're made, and they can't learn new tricks, especially at a certain age.
You can't. It's not even about that, Yemi. It's not about learning anything new. It's about going back to who you were.
Okay.
This ain't about teaching you anything new. He don't need to be taught anything. He's an Olympic gold medalist. He has every shot in the book. He's great on the inside. Look at that shot that finished off Klitschko, elongated his head, the uppercut on the short uppercut. I mean, he can throw uppercuts and body shots. We just didn't see it against Usyk. I know it's easier said than done. Usyk's elusive. He's like a fly flying around the ring, right? So it's easy. It's difficult to pin him down. But I'm just saying you've got to go back to the AJ that burst on the scene back in the day, the AJ that fought Dillian White. Get that mentality in you. And
well, I'll answer this, and I've literally got to go because I've got to bring the kids out. And but what I will say this is that when it comes to boxing, you say, you know, his Olympic background, there needs to be a mixture. You can't just, you know, be this. You've got to have, as you just said, you've got to have that bit of femi. You've got to have that bit of something where there's a moment where in the pocket, you stand there, you just let your hands go. You just let your hands go. You don't care what's coming back. You don't care that you're taking a risk that you might get knocked out. You're just letting it go. What Dillian White would have done to Usyk, he would just stand, he would go in the pocket with you. If you want to trade hook for hook with Dillian White, he's going to do it. He might get knocked out, but he's going to do it. He's going to take a risk and do it. And I think this is what makes the generational fighters like the best of the best. They've got that bit of something inside them, that fighter, that animalistic part of their being, and then they mix it. It's the magic. They mix that with that amateur background, something. When you put them two together, there's your undisputed, there's your generational fighter. And I think at the moment, Anthony Joshua is so close to both of them, and he's just trying to mix them together. And I think in the Usyk fight, let's see. I think he needs to do a bit of boxing for the first part of the fight. I don't think he should go too soon. I think he'll gas if he does. And I think he had success in the mid rounds. I think Usyk is as fast as he's going to be. His reflexes are as fast. He carries the most power in the early rounds. But when he starts making the transitions in the later rounds, it will slow down. So I think between 4 and 8, that is when Anthony Joshua just steps on him. Don't care if you get knocked out. Just go in there, step on Usyk and just impose yourself and just throw. Just throw. It doesn't matter. Just throw. That's what I think he should do.
So what a great example would be the way Anthony Yarde dismantled in the North in their rematch.
Yeah.
Absolute aggression.
Yeah. And you know what? You don't know how many more rounds Anthony Yarde had in him to perform like that, because he stuck it on him. It's very energy zapping when you're doing that. But it's also energy zapping for the guy receiving the shots as well. People are saying, you know, it's dangerous if AJ goes in and starts throwing hell for leather, Hagler Hearn style. But if he's landing, that's draining Usyk as well. If he's missing and, you know, and he's doing that, then fair enough, he might get knocked out. But if he starts landing, then, you know, the opponent's in a whole world of trouble as well. So you've got to throw caution to the wind. That's, you know, simple as that. You've got to take some risks in this fight.
But it's knowing when to take that risk. It's when to go. And this is the thing with Usyk, is that guy's constantly moving. There's no target really to hit. And I know you say, well, just, you know, the body don't move, but his body does move. He's pivoting over there. He's back. His head's moving, and his body's moving. It ain't like he's coming in on the center line, bobbing his head. It ain't even a center line for him. He is everywhere. That will slow down though. But there's the thing with Anthony Joshua. It's unnerving that once he does double up that jab, or he does throw that right, when you miss and then someone comes back with something and just hits you straight down the pipe, it's unsettling. Now he's got to reset and then go again. But as you say, something's come up there. But yeah, he's just got to go and just be willing to get hit and get willing to be knocked out, and then just put it all on the line, which he just didn't do. He just didn't do in that fight. But guys, yeah, I'm so sorry. I've been away from my kids for like 3 hours now because we've done another show. I've got to go now.
Okay, nice talking to you, John. Nice talking to you. You take care, boy. Till next time. We'll definitely talk again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. You're welcome on our show anytime, mate. To give your
what
show
time Wednesday? You're doing a Wednesday.
We're doing it
announcement Wednesday.
Wednesday 7 p.m. I think. Okay. So yeah. All right.
I'll be there now. You take care, John. You talk to you.
All right. Take care, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, Kayla, just you and me for the rest of our chat. In terms of going
Yeah,
forward,
I've got about 10 minutes. I've got about 10 minutes left myself. I can hear my son outside.
okay, okay. In
No
terms
worries,
of
man.
going forward in the channel, do you want to go to IFL? Do you want to interview boxers or promoters? Do you want to
Well,
attend
look,
these live events?
we've weighed this up really, because what we want to do on our channel, Yemi, is we just want to speak from the heart a lot, and we say stuff about boxers. I mean, we never get personal about boxers ever, right? But if someone we believe hasn't performed in a certain way, we're going to say it. Or if we think someone's going to lose against a certain fighter, we'll say it, and we say why we think they're going to lose. And boxers don't really like that. They want you to sit on the fence a lot. So if we start interviewing fighters, it might stop us from being the real me and John on the channel, and we don't really want to do that. So I think interviewing people, we might do the occasional bits and bobs here and there, but I mean, in terms of moving forward and, you know, running around fights with cameras and grabbing boxers, I don't think that's ever going to be us. Plus, we've got kids in that, man. We're older guys now, so you know, we've got commitments outside of what we do, and we enjoy what we do here. We enjoy the chat rooms. We enjoy coming on other channels like yourself, and you know, giving our 2 pence worth. And yeah, so I mean, look, we're just gonna see how it evolves. You know, we've got some ideas for 2022 that you know, we're in the progress of you know, putting together in the background. So see how it goes, man. What about yourself? Are you going to just keep continuing doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I've actually interviewed a few boxers recently. I've actually interviewed about not last week, the week before, Tasha Jonas. You believe it or not, I've actually interviewed her. It was quite,
How did you
quite
get that?
insightful. Yeah, lovely girl, absolutely lovely, absolutely.
How did you get the interview with her then?
I just messaged
You
her on
just
Twitter, our Twitter account. He said yes, give me a time and date, and just we just did it.
excellent. Yeah, we might do that. I mean, we've got a couple of fighters that follow us, and you know, we've got a couple of the guys within the industry that follow our Twitter account as well. So, but again, we're quite controversial sometimes. I don't know if people want to come on. You know what I mean? And we don't really want to lose that raw edge and become just become a channel that breaks fights down. And
I think you're right, guys. I don't think you'll ever be quite tie and brief level controversy. I don't think you'll go that far.
No. We won't want that either, because you know, we won't want that either. So, but we want to try and find a little balance in between. You know, there's plenty of really good channels out there that, like your Chris Andres, G-Man Boxing.
Yes.
That
boxing beating
really really solid boxing knowledge that know a lot about the sport. But you know, we want to kind of bridge the gap between that and your tire booth. And also, you know, we created our 3-minute previews as well. And our 3-minute previews are like a short, digestible piece of content that, you know, even casual fans, we want to invite casual fans into the sport as well. Because sometimes when you break fights down too much, it's for the hardcore fans. So we want to appeal to a casual audience as well.
Absolutely.
That's part of it.
In terms of boxing promoters, this is a bit, this Bob Arum Terence Crawford lawsuit. I know it was, for me, could you actually say Bob Arum was a racist? The thing is, I think boxing Bob Arum and like Bob Arum, the old dinosaurs, they don't understand the casual boxing market. Whereas Eddie Hearn knows the boxing market. That's why Eddie Hearn's the #1 promoter at the moment, because he understands the casual boxing fan. Whereas Frank Warren and Bob Arum, those two, they're too old for their own good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a hell of an accusation by Terence Crawford. You know, if he's got grounds to you know, see that in a court of law and sue Bob Arum, then he's got a big legal team behind working on these things. So, I mean, me and John tried to stay away from anything to do with race, or we don't really speak about that stuff, because it's just, you know, whatever you say, no one's going to like it. So we stay away from that stuff. And we're, you know, we don't really like to talk about all that stuff. Just keep it completely boxing related. And
absolutely.
Yeah, no need to get involved in any of that.
Anyways, so Usyk is fighting Liam Williams February the 5th. You looking forward to that?
Mate, I can't wait for that. I'm so glad we only had to wait a week. Yeah, I seen Liam Williams' recent interview with Michelle Joy Phelps saying that you know, they put a rematch clause in there. I can see why they would do that. Kind of yeah. If Eubank thought he was going to walk through him, and he wouldn't have put the clause in there. Eubank knows he's not stupid. You know, Liam Williams is a high level fighter, but I think Eubank, this will be. I think you'll see all the stuff he's been working on with Roy Jones in this fight, and I feel like Eubank will stop him. I got a funny feeling Eubank start. And I've not spoken too highly of Chris Eubank in the past because of his level of opponent. Since beating James DeGale hasn't been great, and he's been, you know, highly inactive as well. But I feel like this fight is all going to come together. I think they're going to start trading, and I think the speed and explosiveness of Chris Eubank will end up catching. And he hits hard, Chris Eubank, as well. Make no mistake about that. He can turn your lights out. So I feel like he catches Liam Williams and stops him late.
Okay. And you know, did you watch the Guy Wilson Jr. Fight last night? It looks like, you know, lost.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I'm glad that the belt's is relinquished from him now. Like, I picked Gary Russell to win on points by wide points decision. So I didn't think Magsire had the skill set to fight with Gary Russell. I knew Magsire would just come forward, pressure. But Gary Russell's style is very reactive. He's a counter puncher, very slick, very elusive. But his output was non-existent, and he was throwing less than 10 shots in a round.
Yeah, I think Gary underestimated him.
Yeah, there's saying that he injured his arm in the 7th round or 5th round, and he went into that fight with some injuries. But you know, maybe be more. Don't be so inactive. I think he took that fight because he needs the money as well. You know, if you're fighting once a year, it's only so far your money's going to stretch.
Yeah,
so
very inactive.
if he's going to continue on in the sport, just fight a bit more regularly. He's a skillful guy. He's got all the skills in the world, but yeah, holding on to that belt like that for that long, fighting. I think John we did a preview and John covered Gary Russell. I think he's fought 6 times in 7 years or something like that. Ridiculous. All right. So if you're going to take it seriously, just take it seriously from now on, or just retire, you know, find another avenue to make money. But yeah. Deserve to lose.
Absolutely, definitely. You got to be active in this boxing. You got to be active. Anyways, Kayla, you know, thanks. You know, I appreciate opportunity for you. You know, allowing me to interview you, and John. It's been, you know, pleasure.
Thanks for having us on, mate. Our pleasure. You know, any time, and we're going live on Wednesday, so pop in, man. Like, hopefully we'll get a news on the Dillian White Fury fight will be signed, or it will have gone to purse bids on Wednesday. We're going to figure it all out, and on Wednesday 7 p.m. we'll get to have a chat about it. So come on, man. We look forward to having you.
Your schedule, how many videos do you do per week? Is it like
7 p.m. on Wednesdays? We try and keep it to the same schedule, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. We're going to change the Sunday one though, because we started it this morning. There was not many people in the room, so I don't know, people like to go out partying on a Saturday night. So Sunday morning might not be great. We might shift it to Sunday evening, but Wednesday is always 7 p.m. more often than not. So
definitely, absolutely. I just hope for February, you know, the month's going to be busy. The month of boxing, February the 5th. You know, you're back in Williams, and then, you know, Cam Buck.
Yeah, we've got loads. Got loads to get through.
Anyways, guys, thanks. You know, anyways, thanks. You know, opportunity. You know, Kayla, and all the best. I definitely, you know, coming on Wednesday's, you know, broadcast, and definitely, hopefully, we have the you know announcement between White and Fury and see how it goes.
Thanks, Yemi. Cheers, mate.
You take care, man. Adios, amigo.